Hey everyone, welcome back to HomeSec Explorer. Today we are doing container security for normal Homelabs. No enterprise buzzwords, no PhD required. Docker is awesome because it makes things easy, but the default that works is often not the default that's safe. So in this video I will show you 8 common Docker mistakes people make in Homelabs, and I show you the copy-paste fixes. On screen I'm using simple examples like Vault Warden and Postgres, the kind of stuff we actually run at home. Let's get into it. Here's the plan. 8 mistakes. For each one, what the problem is, what it looks like in Compose, and how to fix it. And at the end, I show you a safer baseline template you can reuse. Quick note about the setup. Everything I show is Docker Compose. Nothing here requires Kubernetes. Mistake 1 is running everything as root. If an app gets exploited, the attacker starts as root inside the container. That makes it easier to mess with mounted volumes, abuse capabilities, and pivot to other containers. Most images run as root unless you change it. So if you don't have a user set in your Docker Compose file, here's the simple fix. To run as a non-root user. In Compose, add a user line with a user ID and group ID of an unprivileged user. If you use bind mounts, make sure folder permissions match the UID. Mistake 2. Privileged true. This basically turns off most container isolation. It is like saying, just trust this container with the host. A lot of people are privileged because something didn't work, and they want the easy button. Under bad, you see the risky pattern, privileged true. Remove privileged and only add what you actually need. Need a device? Add only that device. Need a mount? Add only that mount and prefer read-only. Privileged is last resort, not the default. Mistake 3. Mounting var1 docker.sock into a random container. This one is huge. Anyone who can access that socket can control Docker. And very often that means controlling the host. So if a container gets popped and it has the Docker socket, that can quickly become own the box. So if you have a container that needs access to the Docker socket, instead of mounting it directly, use the Docker socket proxy instead, and only allow read-only endpoints. The Docker socket is basically root. Treat it like root. Mistake 4. Latest tags everywhere. Latest feels convenient. But it's a trap. Restarts can pull breaking changes. You cannot reproduce your stack, and a minor update can turn into downtime. So instead of using latest, pin the versions. Using a version tag or the digest. Pin versions, update on your schedule, not theirs. Mistake 5. Containers with a full read-write root file system. If a container gets compromised, a writable file system makes it easy to drop tools, modify files, and add persistence. Make the root file system read-only, then explicitly allow writes only where needed. Add read-only true. Add tmpfs for temp and run. And mount a volume only for the app's writable data path. Read-only by default. Writable only on purpose. Mistake 6. Too many Linux capabilities. Capabilities are basically root powers. Many services need none. Drop everything, then add back only what you need. Add cap drop all. And add security option no new privileges true. If you need low ports below 1024, add only netbind service. Drop all. Add back only what you truly need. Mistake 7. No network segmentation. And publishing ports you don't need. A flat network makes lateral movement easy. Compromise one container and it can talk to everything else. And databases should almost never be exposed to your LAN. For databases, remove port mappings entirely. Use a dedicated backend network and keep the DB only on that network. If you need access for debugging, bind locally or use a temporary exec session. Don't publish the DB. Put inbound apps on the proxy networks and only listen locally. For external access, use a reverse proxy. Databases should be private. Networks should be segmented. Mistake 8. Bad secrets hygiene. Environment variables are convenient, but secrets leak. They can show up in Compose exports. They can show up in logs. They can show up in process listenings. Use file-based secrets with tight permissions. For admin tokens, keep them out of Compose. Set them in your shell or a secret manager. Secrets should not live in your Compose file. Before we wrap up, quick wins with high value. Restart policies. Restart unless stopped. Health checks, so you can actually see when something is broken. Resource limits, so one container can't ruin the whole host. And a basic image scanning like Trivy as part of your update routine. Here's a safer baseline Compose template. Non-root user, read-only file system, TMPFS for temp and run, capabilities dropped, no new privileges. Pinned versions, backend network segmentation, and secrets via files. If you start from this template, you avoid most of the mistakes automatically. To go further, put a reverse proxy in front and remove random exposed ports. Segment risky services into separate VMs, and most importantly, back up your stateful data and test restores. If this was useful, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.